What if the greatest mystery on Earth just got deeper? A new radar study claims to have found vertical shafts plunging over 2,000 feet beneath the Great Pyramid of Giza. Spirals, caverns, anomalies no one's ever documented until now. It's going viral, but is it real or is it just another illusion dressed as a revelation? You're not here for hype, you're here for the space between belief and bullshit. I'm Len, this is a Maverick Mind. Let's dig in and see where it goes. Why does this matter? The stories we've been taught with neatly ordered timelines, linear progress, they don't hold up under pressure like this. Discoveries like this, if verified, don't just challenge archaeology, they challenge our assumptions about who we are and what we've forgotten. Because beneath the mystery lies something deeper, a fracture in the way we tell the human story. For centuries, we've accepted a sanitized version of the past, neatly ordered timelines, linear progress, but discoveries like this, if proven, don't just challenge archaeology, they challenge the very notion of who we are and what we're capable of. And maybe what we've forgotten. But let's go deeper. Let's put this whole thing into scale. The Great Pyramid stands about 146 meters tall, roughly 480 feet. Just imagine that. Now flip it 4 times downward into the earth. And that's what this claim is suggesting. That's not just big, it's tectonically huge. We're not talking about a hidden chamber here. We're talking about architecture on a scale that rewrites what we believe ancient engineering was even capable of. 2 researchers, forgive me for the pronunciation, Cornado Malanga, a physicist formerly affiliated with the University of Pisa, and Filippo Bondi, a radar image specialist from the University of Strathclyde, say they found something hidden far below the Giza Plateau. Using synthetic aperture radar, known as SAR, and natural seismic vibrations, they believe they detected 8 vertical shafts, each one about 640 meters deep, over 2,100 feet straight down. That's more than 4 times the height of the Great Pyramid buried straight into the earth, and it doesn't stop there. The shafts appear to be surrounded by spiral structures, an architectural feature never before seen in ancient Egyptian archaeology. If it's true, it's a paradigm-shattering discovery. But if it's wrong, and it might be, it's just really creative noise. Because when you combine speculative tech with viral hunger and a sprinkle of esoteric aesthetics, you get a story that feels true long before it's proven. Right now, the internet is full of people, I'm sure you've seen it, who saw a scan, read a caption, and are now convinced they know exactly what lies beneath the sand. That's how myths are born, quickly, emotionally, and without resistance. And don't get me wrong, I love a good mystery. But when the mystery turns into certainty without evidence, that's not awakening. That's just another story we tell ourselves. And stories, as powerful as they are not always true. Unsurprisingly, Egypt's most famous archaeologist, Zahi Hawass, was quick to shut down this whole thing. He said, unscientific, case closed, no more questions to be asked. And here's the thing, Hawass isn't exactly an unbiased source. He spent his entire career defending a very specific story. That the pyramids were tombs built around 2500 BC by pharaohs that we have heard about in textbooks. End of story. No debate, any question, any challenge of that narrative, and you're not just wrong, you're a threat. That's not science, that's ideology. Hawass has positioned himself as the sole authority on Egyptian antiquity for decades, often with cameras rolling. He's dismissed discoveries before they're even analyzed and silenced dissent within academic circles. The man is a PR machine as much as an archaeologist, and let's be honest, when your identity is built on knowing all the answers, you don't have much of an incentive to ask better questions. Now, going to the Great Pyramid, there are no inscriptions, no treasure, no body, nothing that clearly says this is a tomb, just a sterile stone box and a whole lot of assumptions. Compare that to any verified pharaonic tomb. Walls are lined with text, afterlife rituals, treasures, mummified remains. None of that. Just massive, mysterious precision. The only link to Pharaoh Khufu, who is believed to have built the pyramids, is a name scrawled in red paint found in a cramped space that's barely accessible. And even that has its own controversy. No construction records, no blueprints, no verified inscription inside the pyramid itself, tying it directly to Khufu during his lifetime. And think about it. Why would the greatest architectural feat in human history be built in complete silence? It's not as if the pharaohs were shy about showing off. Their monuments were covered in inscriptions. Their accomplishments shouted from the walls, columns. Entire cities were shaped in their honor. But why nothing here? Why the quiet? No celebration in the surrounding text. No fanfare, no temple carvings, no continuation of the architectural tradition after his death. We're told it was a tomb, but everything about it, structure, precision, and total lack of funerary context, suggests otherwise. We've built an entire historical consensus on a handful of clues and a whole lot of confidence. And yet, what we do know about these structures, their construction, is enough to break brains. I'd love to make an entire video on this particular subject if anyone's interested, and if you are, please do let me know in the comments. Some of the limestone casing stones were so precisely cut that they're within a millimeter of an error. We're talking about blocks the size of SUVs positioned with laser-like precision, supposedly using technology that if we tried to use that today, we could never replicate what they did. We struggle to do it with the technology we have today, let alone copper chisels. Not saying that it wasn't true and that's not what happened, but there are some definite questions. So if the mainstream story is that fragile, should we really be shocked when people start looking for deeper answers? So going into it further, synthetic aperture radar, otherwise known as SAR, is satellite-based. It shoots bursts of microwave energy into the Earth's surface, then listens for the echo. It doesn't need daylight, it doesn't care about clouds. And in dry desert terrain, it can detect anomalies just below the surface. But let's get real. SAR isn't an X-ray. It can't see cleanly through dense limestone or hundreds of meters of bedrock. It cannot happen without help. Now that's where passive seismic analysis comes in. Instead of sending energy down, it listens to the Earth's natural vibrations, wind, micro-earthquakes, even traffic, by studying how those vibrations move through the ground. Researchers can guess what's solid and what might be hollow. The key word is guess. What they're building is a model, an interpretation of that data. You're not seeing photographs, you're seeing probabilities. And when someone says, "We found a shaft," what they really mean is the data might suggest a pattern that could indicate a shaft maybe. That doesn't mean that it's fake, but it sure as hell doesn't mean that it's a fact. So based on the dimensions and the descriptions in the study, if it was real, it's very unlikely that it was built to the timeline and the people that were supposed to have built it. And maybe I'm missing some. If you think I am, please do tell me in the comments. Genuinely, I want to know more about this subject. But I'd rather ask the right questions and stop asking altogether. They're not actual radar scans. They're artistic impressions, visual models. The raw data, the messy, difficult to parse reading that underpin those visuals, has not been released. And that's a problem. That's a red flag. Because when you're making extraordinary, paradigm-shifting claims, the data needs to be public, peer-reviewed, scrutinized, and yes, some are calling this a hoax. But without the raw data, no one's qualified to call it anything without certainty. You don't just release renderings, you have to release the receipts. We need the original data from the original tools and know exactly how they did it and exactly the process so it can be replicated by other people. And yes, this is stunning. If this is real, it changes everything we thought we knew about Giza, and probably what we know about world history. But let's be clear, this is not a confirmation. It's possibility dressed in design. It's not proof. It's a question rendered in pixels. Speculation is exploding right now, and I get it. This is something fun to speculate about. But let's take a step back and address it. People are claiming for sure that it's power generators, Tesla coils, stargates. One radar scan hits the internet and suddenly we're rewriting physics on TikTok. Look, I'm not against speculation. In fact, it is healthy, necessary even. But when we skip the evidence, when we replace mystery with mythology disguised as fact, we're not opening minds. That's not an open mind. We close them. Not everything strange is sacred tech. Not every shaft is a power conduit. And sometimes when we don't know something, the most honest thing we can say is just that. We don't know. It's okay to say we don't know or I don't know. Let's talk about what we haven't seen. Let's talk about what this would mean if it is real. If even a fraction of this is accurate, spiral shafts, deep architecture, anomalous tech, it would imply a civilization with engineering and planning far beyond what we attribute to the time period of 2500 BC. And that would ripple far beyond Giza. Because if the official timeline is off, even by a few centuries or more, what else have we misdated or misunderstood? I suspicion a lot. This is why some resist it so hard. It's not just about data. It's about the implications, the raw data. This is where things get murky. But let's keep this real. This is a reconstruction built on radar signals and assumptions. In real science, especially when the claims are this massive, raw data is made public. And again, peer-reviewed. But not in this case. That didn't happen. Not yet. Nothing. And that should raise eyebrows. That should make you be like, wait a minute, we need to find out more. Because if the truth is buried under the sand, why bury the data too? If you're going to make claims this massive, claims that challenge everything we know, you better bring the receipts. And the raw data is the only receipts that matter. Now, producing this kind of work, the level of research, storytelling, design, audio takes time and focus, and it doesn't happen by accident. It happens because of the people you see on the screen right now. These aren't just names, they're co-creators. Patreon members who believe that the mysteries deserve more than clickbait, are interested in consciousness, the nature of reality, and so much more. This channel mixes a combination of ancient mystery and modern technology, science, logic, and reason. If that is of value to you, please consider actually joining. The link to Patreon is in the description. I hope to see you there. Your support is incredibly valuable to our future. What do you think the pyramids were originally built for? Power source, initiation chamber, something else entirely? I want to hear your theory, but tell us why. Let's see where this curiosity takes us. Because the goal isn't certainty, it's curiosity guided by discipline to ask better questions, even uncomfortable ones. But what does lie beneath the pyramids? Is it ancient engineering, a cosmic riddle, a misinterpreted signal echoing through the noise? The truth is, we do not know. And maybe that's the point, because the real danger isn't the mystery, it's pretending the mystery is solved. Whether it's the gatekeepers clinging to their version of history, or the influencers chasing the next viral revelation. Can we sit with the unknown without rushing to explain why? Isn't it better to make sure we have the right question than to embrace the most convenient answer? Join us. My name is Len Cook. This is Maverick Mind. Please like and subscribe, and please consider joining our Patreon. Will you walk with me? Hope to see you around. Thank you.